Alright, welcome back everyone. Today I am playing Cuboid Outpost. I found out about this mod pack through my YouTube recommendations. I really like the premise, so here I am, now playing it. Quickly taking care of some of these less important quests. As you might notice, I actually got to work right away. Why? Being completely honest and transparent with you guys, I did try out the mod pack for an hour before finally recording, so I had a general idea of what I had and needed to do. So with that, I started by mining with the iron pickaxe I start with. Now, the whole premise of the mod pack is we as a player are stranded in this mysterious world, if you will, after the company we work for caused some reality breaking things. So, with the limited resources and the items available to us in the outpost, we know how to make the best of our situation. We started off by gathering the ore found everywhere in this world, not sogodium. On top of that, I had very limited food, so I had to figure out my situation fast. Now that I had the not sogodium ingots, I started by clearing some of these initial quests, making a bucket, some not sogodium rods, combining 4 carbon deposit pieces to make a piece of coal, eventually making torches using the not sogodium rods. Now that I had the torches, I had to turn some of these not sogodium ingots into nuggets to be able to make some lanterns to be able to complete this quest. Now all that was left was to wait for this not sogodium to finish cooking, which was gonna take a while. After having made myself a sword and some armor, I go remembering about the pulverizer. Since I was starting to use the pulverizer now, it meant I had double the not sogodium now. So it would make me progress a little bit faster. But I now had enough to make myself a not sogodium smasher, making 2 blocks and using 2 of the rods and 1 single not sogodium ingot to make it. It would allow me to mine in a 3x3 area, making mining a little bit faster, so with that in hand, I headed back down into my mine. Using Ultimine to help me mine all these ores much faster, it definitely sped up the process. Using the lanterns as a source of light down here, I kept on mining, eventually breaking the smasher, and using Shift K I am able to quickly convert these not so sogodium pieces into chunks. After mining, I decided to place some torches around the outpost, which led to me being followed by a couple of zombies. At first I didn't pay them no attention, but learned how important rotten flesh would be for progression, so I couldn't afford to ignore them. Back at the outpost, I stored some of the more or less important items for right now, looking through my quest to see what needed to get done in order to progress. With that, I made my first furnace, then turning it into a Natsugodium furnace. Since that was done, all I now needed was a Natsugodium quantum collapser. Seeing I would have to wait for the Natsugodium ingots to continue cooking, I decided to go out and do a little bit of population control on the local monster population of the night, looking to get all these drops for these quests. Which now meant I was gonna speed up my nightly adventures. But my sword had broken at the worst time ever, so I had to defend myself with nothing but my fists. With the zombies taken care of, I now head back to the outpost. Remembering I had leveled up, I check out what I could do with my one single level, ultimately deciding to invest it into Gladiator. Why? Because why not? Now, apparently, one of the mobs had dropped a reward box. Wondering what I could get from it, I open it and get a Book of Cursed Bones. What's it used for? I had no idea. So I continued on with getting the quest done by cooking a spider eye. Well, that was one way to get food. Making bone meal, some Natsugodium bowls, grabbing my bucket, filling it and combining all three would allow me to make some broth. A bit tedious, but I now had better food. Now with that done, that was another quest out the way. Next up was I had to make a hopper, which was good news. It meant automation coming your way in 100 years from now. But in order for me to make this hopper, I first had to make a Natsugodium chest. Eventually, I had enough to make the Natsugodium quantum collapser. Next up, after the quantum collapser, would be the smoosher. Reading it, I thought it wouldn't be as useful, but boy, was I wrong. But I took the moment to organize myself and make another sword. For what? More population control on the local monsters because I would be needing their drops for it was just me wanting to do population control really, but I actually needed the rotted flesh. So, and so with that, here's some more sped up footage. With the sun shining now, I take a moment to organize myself and head back to the outpost. What was next? Making the beloved hopper to continue these quests. Once the hopper would be done, the smoosher would be next. And so with that, I had finally made the hopper. With the smoosher now done, I had to test out if what I interpreted its function to be was correct. My interpretation was correct. That's when I realized something and I had the biggest grin ever. I would not need to use the pulverizer, for now at least. So next up was another smasher to continue mining. Having spent a little time mining, I now had so much not-so-godium dust to cook. I knew I needed to make furnaces, but I wasn't done mining yet, so I went ahead and made myself another smasher and decided to do another mining trip. And with that, there was another mining trip done. As you might realize, I am not eating broth. As I had crafted some broth before mining again, I had accidentally discovered fresh water, which only took 1 bucket of water. So it made broth obsolete, but I held on to it regardless. Knowing the redstone furnace wasn't a permanent solution, I made myself some not-so-gonium furnaces to speed up my cooking, splitting up whatever coal I had evenly on all 4 furnaces. But now it was finally time to make my very first singularity. After some time of waiting, I had more than enough Natsugodium ingots to make my first Natsugodium singularity. Now, you might be asking yourself, what did these singularities do? It was basically an infinite amount of said resources, but in order to use it, I needed a singularity resource generator. After some time, I finally had everything to make my first Natsugodium resource generator, using it to automate one of the furnaces to cook Natsugodium for me. Next up on the list, I now had to make a molecular recycler, but I would be needing to sacrifice one of the advanced energy cells and the centrifugal separator. I now had almost everything. You didn't miss out on a lot besides me mining, making some coal singularities, and reorganizing inside the outpost a little bit. With the molecular recycler now crafted, I had to sacrifice one of the advanced solar generators, hoping I would be getting more than 9 pieces of redstone. And luckily enough, I got 11. Seeing I wouldn't need the other things right now that I got along with the pieces of redstone, I stashed them away and made myself a redstone block. Using that very redstone block to make myself a not-so-godium singularity powered generator. Next up on the crafting list was to make a quantum transmutation chamber. For this, I had to sacrifice my ME controller. As bad as it was fine. All I had to do was move my ME drive up to be able to continue using my digital storage. I would also be needing to sacrifice my redstone furnace, but since I had the furnaces, this wouldn't be as bad. But I realized I needed 2 singularities for this too. Now that I had 2 coal singularities, I finally made myself a quantum transmutation chamber. Immediately using it to start making the next tier of ore. Cuboid, however you say it, I'll just call it K. Next on the list was making this ore's version of the items we would be needing. After some time of mining, reorganizing inside the outpost, and making some progress, I figured I would have an easier time with the infinite water source inside, so I now had a 2x2 water source next to my bed. I had also started to make the next tier of ore after K ore, so now it was more AFK time for me. I'll bring you guys right back. After some upgrades and mining, I now had access to the third tier of ore, Nodar Badium? I'll just call it Nodar. Using my K ore singularity to continue making more Nodar through the quantum transmutation chamber, and so it was the waiting game again. So instead of making you guys watch the whole boring process of me trying to upgrade from ore to ore to ore, here I was now having upgraded most of my furnaces to the Wikidum stage. Wikidum being the second highest tier, just one more. The setup so far was looking good. For the first day, some decent progress had been made. From starting with just an iron pickaxe to now having Wikidum, one ore away from the highest one available. Tadlu. However, you properly pronounce that. So I took some time to check my furnaces and make sure everything is going well. And so with this, I have run out of time. I would call this a pretty successful first couple of days in this strange world. So with this, my name is Keela. Like it or dislike it, I am out. Stay safe, everyone. I'll see you guys next time.